Hey guys, and welcome to episode 3 of Gotta AFK. I'm your host, Jacky Liang.
And I'm your host, Kevin Wu. Oh my goodness, we have so much to talk about today. So our first topic is the Fedmyster and Pokimane drama.
If you don't know already, the drama is basically that Fedmyster released a 25-page document, I think, that basically exposed Pokimane for things that he found unjust. For example, he felt that he was taking punishments from Pokimane, or Pokimane that threw onto him to shift the blame. One of this being the Yvonne getting kicked out of offline TV situation, where he felt the idea was Pokimane was trying to get Yvonne out of the house, but Fedmyster was trying to defend her because of things. But Pokimane said Fedmyster was trying to get her out of the house. But without any context, which way would you have thought it was? Because through the text, it seemed that Pokimane was trying to get rid of him.
Yeah, I think without context and through the text, it seems like Pokimane's like manipulating Fedmyster in a way.
But that was until we got the next document from... Okay, Pokimane stream defending herself was absolute garbage. She was just laughing everything off without really giving an answer to anything until she released her document that explained everything. Like, everybody was wondering how reliable these pictures of text were. That was, and everyone was like, he's an editor. It could all be fake. That was until we saw her messages that we found out it was real. But he specifically picked it so that it would favor him when he didn't like. Oh. It's like taking. Yeah, the texts were like a long paragraph, and he only took one sentence to prove his point.
Oh, so basically, he kind of like edited the screenshots and like made it so it looks more lenient to his side than Pokimane's like truth.
Not edited, more like cherry picked the ones that would favor him without giving the full context.
Okay, I see.
What happened in this situation? Fedmyster throughout the months had been slowly talking poop about Yvonne, basically making it seem like she wasn't getting any work done. So this caused Pokimane to want to get rid of her, because you wouldn't want to keep an employee that's like, not doing anything.
All right, yeah, I think that's your take on the thing, but from my perspective, I watched the 1 hour live stream of Pokimane kind of reacting to the 25-page essay that Fedmyster wrote, and yeah, you were right. She was just kind of like laughing it off, like, this is just regular relationship, 21-year-old relationship stuff, blah blah blah. But then like a few days later on the weekends, she posted her own 11-page essay response, which she also talked about this situation. But what I found weird and kind of interesting was that both sides, they said they wanted to keep this thing as private as possible, but they're doing it in the most public way. So, I mean, like, they said they want to keep everything very private, keep those essays private, and then Fedmyster leaked his own 25-page response, and Pokimane wrote an 11-page response back to him. So I just thought this was kind of weird and interesting how they say they want to keep everything private, but instead they actually just shown everything like publicly.
I don't think it's... Okay, I think this is a really one-sided situation. This is completely Fedmyster's fault. He brought it to public, whether he intentionally did it or not.
Yeah, that's true.
He let a fan see he didn't trust... He obviously can't trust fans, because fans are just going to leak it. You have like... There's no personal trust between you two.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
I think Pokimane was kind of forced, like, whether or not she wanted to kind of talk about it, because everybody looked at those messages and it looked super incriminating for Pokimane. Like, it seemed like everything was actually manipulated by her, but those were just cherry-picked texts, like I said earlier. So in reality, she didn't have much of a choice. She had to defend herself, or everybody was going to see her in a different way. And if you actually look at the document, you can see everything Fedmyster pretty much said was completely wrong. There was not a single shred of evidence that was correct. And I feel like right now, everybody's... Okay, I'm going to go into something more manipulative that I don't know if Fedmyster intentionally planned, but this is how it worked out. Because he attacked first, like calling her out, everybody saw that. They didn't see Pokimane's response. Only a few people actually did, or like a small majority of people actually did. If you if you see how many people viewed the other document, the first document that Fedmyster posts, more people viewed that than the Pokimane document. So I feel like he did a very big hit because people are calling both of them out now. So they're both like, in the public's eyes, both of them are wrong. Like you said earlier, you felt like, why are they bringing it to the public? Pokimane didn't have a choice in any of the situations. She's receiving backlash when in reality she shouldn't receive any and all right now. Or that's at least my take on it. What's yours?
Yeah, I think, you know, I just found it interesting how they did kind of explain that they want to keep this private, but then they release all this public stuff. But after your explanation, yeah, I do think, you know, from 5 months ago, these allegations and stuff, Fedmyster, it's totally his fault, yeah. And Pokimane was, as you said, forced to defend herself. But, you know, what's kind of sad is that more people read Fedmyster's 25-page like essay about and with those like cherry-picked evidences instead of reading Pokimane's side of things and like the 11-page essay. So I think, you know, it's 100%. My take is it's 100% Fedmyster's fault, and I think, you know, both sides kind of need to chill. I think that's my take, is because, you know, this drama is, you know, it's been going on for 2-3 weeks. And, you know, it's getting worse, from my opinion.
For sure. I feel like, okay, I don't think he's a big brain person like this, but this was the most this is the most benefit he could have caused to do as much damage if that's what he was intending to. Because in reality, Pokimane should take like nothing bad should have came out of this. But because he struck first, now they're both going down. So either he's very intent on getting her in trouble, or he's just very stupid and accidentally got a Reese and just got super lucky while also taking her down. But it's also taking him down, so both careers are taking a hit from this. Anyways, I feel like we've talked about that enough. We should get into our next subject, which is actually the retirement of Doublelift.
So yeah, Doublelift, you know, 1 or 2 weeks ago, he announced his retirement, and this kind of just, you know, came out of nowhere. You know, when Bjergsen announced his retirement, Doublelift on stream was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna retire, but, you know, people saw it as a joke. He said that it was a joke, but now a few months later, he announced his own retirement and it was actually real. TSM actually even released a farewell Doublelift video, you know, tributing him. So, I mean, you know, like, this is a huge impact on North American League of Legends. Like, yeah, like, Jacky, you have more insight on this. You want to just like give the audience more explanation, like, on how this impact NA?
Yeah, following Bjergsen's retirement, this is like extremely shocking because he was one of the last veteran players, I think, from Worlds Season 1.
Yeah, Season 1.
Or like the first World. Yeah, he was the first. He was in the original first Worlds, and now it's just like, wow, he's gone. It's like, we have Wild Turtle and all those people, but they came in at a later time. And I freaking love Wild Turtle, but like, it's like saddening seeing the last veteran officially leave, and it's like basically a new generation. Not really a new generation, but it's like you don't see any old familiar faces now. I think the only last standing person is Yellowstar, but he's in like Europe. I don't even know where he's playing right now. He's still relevant now. It's just sad. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely sad seeing one of the one of the oldest, so to speak, player, like the long lasting. He's been playing in North American League of Legends teams for 10 years, and, you know, now he's just he's saying, okay, I'm gonna retire now and just do my own thing. So yeah, it's also a huge hit on the TSM roster changes too, because now their AD carry Doublelift left just out of nowhere.
Yeah, TSM is gonna look extremely weak. Like, their 2-star players, they're like, let's be real, he was probably one of the best NA ADCs, and also now the best NA mid laner's gone. Like, wow, this took a huge hit this year. Yeah,
it's just, you know, like, for me, I started playing League in, you know, kind of like early high school years, but Doublelift, you know, was one of the first people that I kind of watched from the League of Legends esports scene, and seeing him taking all these championships and stuff, it's really sad seeing him just going to retirement now after playing for so many years and impacting the League of Legends NA competitive scene in general,
Yeah, and it also means now the roster changes are going to be extremely more difficult. You're going to put value in like what used to be second tier people instead of like what was top tier, like Bjergsen. Like we already saw, what's his name? What was that mid laner that got a 2 million contract? Was it
2 million? I'm not sure who are you.
You were discussing it like last show. Was it Perks?
Perks Perks got a 11.7 million buyout from C9.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, like that's like wow, 5 times more than I thought. Okay, yeah. Like, right now, there's putting a lot of value in like newer players, or not newer players, what we wouldn't have expected.
But kind of like a new talent. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the next topic we will be talking about is League of Legends roster changes. So much going on. Yeah. So yeah, our next topic is about the League of Legends competitive scene roster changes. So much is going on. Like so much had been rumors have been confirmed and all that stuff since our last show. So the first thing I want to talk about is regarding Team Liquid. Their top laner Impact is now leaving the team and joining Evil Geniuses, and Broxa, their jungler, is also leaving TL. So I'm not too sure who TL would pick up. And right now they do have Jensen. They did get Jensen with like a $4 million contract, but the rest of the TL roster, I'm not sure, And speaking of Impact going to Evil Genius, speaking of Evil Geniuses, Huni from, I believe it's Huni who from Evil Geniuses is now moving to TSM as TSM's new top laner. And with Doublelift gone, the new ADC for TSM is actually Lost, who is actually someone who's not been heard a lot because the first team he played in was Echo Fox, so I don't even know what happened to that team, but now he did join the TSM Academy back in like 2018 or 19, so now he is stepping in to replace Doublelift, which is a really hard job to do. I mean, I want your take on this, like a new Academy player taking over Doublelift's space.
I don't think he's on Doublelift level, and that is very big shoes to fill. I mean, maybe he's gonna pop off, but the Huni pick was probably the biggest one yet. Huni actually was able to play on SKT. He's a little bit trash in my opinion, but he got to SKT.
Yeah, he's got a really long hate train throughout the years.
Yeah. Oh really?
Yeah, like after Huni left SKT, people were saying how Huni were really trash in SKT, and they were glad that he left, and now people were sad that he moved to NA, and it's bringing NA down. But from a neutral perspective, because I'm a really neutral person, like Huni does have potential, and now that he's getting accepted into TSM as their new top laner, I hope he does really well. Like if I hope the TSM the Huni hate train is just should be gone. Hopefully, if he.
I mean, we gotta think about logically. SKT wouldn't pick up Huni for no reason. At some point, he was good, and even if he didn't perform well in SKT, at least he now has the strategies from SKT that he can bring over to TSM.
Yeah, that definitely. So, I think Huni, he has potential, and now he's in TSM. He can release his beast mode, so to speak, his potential, and we'll see what he does in TSM. But enough of Team Solo Mid. The biggest news in the League of Legends roster change is revolving around Perks. As I mentioned before, Perks C9 had a 11.75 million buyout for Perks, and now he's the new mid laner of C9 as Niski went to Fnatic. So I just, Jacky, I want your opinion on this. Like, Is 11.7 million too much to get a mid laner from EU?
Wow, they really put a lot of value on him, and I'm not even sure if he's. I mean, I know he's good, but I don't know if he was worth that much. He really better perform because he's set to play for 2 years only.
I think the contract usually is like around 2 years, and it was supposed to be 5 million buyout. They suggested double the price, so I don't know what was going on between Asla and the owner of C9, but yeah, as you said, he better do good for C9 and NA in general. I mean, he is an EU smart, but
C9 has been known to buy out with with lots and lots of money, but this one is extremely shocking because even if Perks is worth $11 million, if they don't perform this year, they're gonna take a huge hit.
Yeah,
and I don't even know if the rest of it will be able to follow up with it.
And it's even harder to make money with COVID. It's still reigning over at the esports scene, and if Perks really underperforms next year and stuff, it's that 11 million is kind of down the drain, so to speak.
The first Strike Invitational officially came to an end with 100 Thieves going 3-1 against TSM in the grand finals. There were some standout performances by everyone, but especially 100 Thieves' Osman, who popped off severely this game. He was the entry fragger for 100 Thieves, and he did that exactly well, even going Raze into Raze battle against Raze ulti. It was an extremely fun game to watch.
And on the TSM side, Drone popped off in almost basically all of the games, as especially in the first game, he got over 20 kills and led the TSM to a very close game in the first game, but unfortunately TSM still couldn't beat 100 Thieves in the first game, as they went into overtime, and things just went down the hill for a little bit in the second half of the game.
100 Thieves still continue to shock us with their new roster change, continuously growing and being better than what we initially thought. I expect more out of them, and I'm not going to be a 100 Thieves fan anymore because they did win, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right. I know. I was actually rooting for TSM when I was watching. TSM was at the T1 Invitational. They were the kings of NA, of Valorant, but I really thought TSM was going to pop off. Basically from the first game, for the first half, I was like, yes, TSM is gonna win. They're finally, gonna take the throne again. But unfortunately, 100 Thieves, they just had a better tactics going into basically all of the maps.
Thank you so much for sticking to the end of the show today. That was all the discussion we'll be talking about, but don't forget to check out our main show, which will be premiering this Friday.
Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and follow all of our social medias. This has been Kevin Wu.
And this has been Jacky and Liang, and we got it, AFK.